What's good, BitRushers? My name's DeFi Brains and you're watching BitRush Crypto. Today's video is going to be a how to create NFTs on Solana. Part 1, we're going to be using a random generator to create 10,000 random files that have metadata ready for use with the Solana blockchain. I do have several other videos that may be useful to you if you're looking to create an NFT project, so make sure you guys search my channel, and I do have a playlist, so go check out on the playlist section here, and you guys will be able to find that. So a lot of great useful content here on my channel. So why don't you guys go ahead and pound the thumbs up on this video and subscribe if you're not already. I also just want to let everyone know about another thing that we recently launched here on the BitRush Crypto channel, which is my NFT Mentorship. So if you guys have any problems with today's video or any of the other videos on how to create an NFT and you need a little bit extra access, some extra help, or just some support from a great community, you can come on over here and join my NFT Mentorship program. I will answer all of your questions as quickly and best as I can, and it is 100% completely free. However, to access it, you do need to purchase and own a CryptoPunkin, which is my NFT project. So if you guys would like a little bit extra access and some help and entry into this NFT mentorship program, go ahead and pick yourself up a CryptoPunkin, which will be linked in the description below. And looks a little something like this. Make sure you're on the right one. It is the CryptoPunkin patch, spelled P-U-N-K-I-N, no P in the pumpkin there, CryptoPunkin patch. So right now the floor price is fairly low at 0.015. Pick yourself one up. Join the Discord chat, which is also linked below. Verify yourself in the chat and you'll have access to that mentorship program. And just real quick, make sure you're following me at DeFi Brains on Twitter as well, as we're currently doing a 0.1 ETH drop for all of the CryptoPunkin holders. So if you guys do end up purchasing a pumpkin, you can also enter this weekly drop for that 0.1 Ethereum simply by listing your favorite pumpkin number. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the tutorial on how to create these files. I do have another video that covers basically how to create all the files using Photoshop. So if you guys don't know how to do that, go back and watch that separate video. I'm going to assume that at this point you have all of the layers in separate files and separate folders and you're ready to now build them, and you just need to know how to use a generator or how to get them created, and that's what I'm going to show you today. We're going to be pulling the files for this generator from the HashLips art engine, and that will also be linked in the description below. But since we are getting this from HashLips, I do recommend that you do go over to his channel and give him a like and a sub as well, and make sure you like his GitHub repo also. If you guys are following along from previous videos and you had downloaded the art engine previously, go ahead and download the newest version, which is available, which currently is going to be version 1.1.2. Okay, this will be linked in the description, but if you're watching in the future, there might be a different version. So if you want to be on the same version as us, this is the one we're on. And if you're watching from that past video, make sure you get this newest updated version. And again, to get here, it's github.com/hashlips/hashlips_art_engine. And we're just going to click on the nice green code button there, and we're going to download. That will download the HashLips art engine. Okay, so mine is going to be called HashLips art engine main 5, but I downloaded it previously under 4, so I'll actually be using the 4 version, so don't be getting confused with that. Next, you're going to need to download Node.Js, so navigate over to Node.js website, and I recommend you getting the one that says recommended, because sometimes the latest version has bugs and it doesn't always work exactly as planned. So just go ahead and download 16.13.1 and get that installed. Next, you're going to need something to run the code, and what we recommend is Visual Studio Code. It is free, so go over here to code.visualstudio.com and get this downloaded as well. So once you have both of those downloaded, you'll now be ready to do the next step. And just one final note, when you're downloading these and installing them, you don't need the chocolatory package, so just skip that or it will take forever and probably crash your PC while you're trying to load it. But once you guys get everything downloaded and installed, let's go ahead and open up Visual Studio Code. Once in Visual Studio Code, you're going to need to come to File and Open Folder. This is very important that you choose Open Folder and not Open File. If you don't open the folder and have the entire directory open, this will not work. So go to wherever you downloaded that file and do an extraction and just extract it into a folder. As I mentioned, mine is called Hashlip's Art Engine Main 4. So I'm going to open that up. And there's going to be another file in there called Hashlip's Art Engine Main. That's the one you're going to want to open up. I did also clone it and just rename it to Test Cubes, which is what we're going to be working with today. The reason why I like to do this is if you make any mistakes and you want to go back to an original copy, that if you're working with a copied version, you still have another original you can copy and create again and continue to test and play around with while keeping that original intact, but that's up to you guys. I'm going to first go through the main Hashlip's Art Engine unchanged and just show you how it is when it comes out of the box here. And then we'll go through and I'll show you my test cubes and we'll go through a couple of the changes and I'll teach you how to create these images for Solana. Okay, so once you're in that next folder, you'll see constants, layers, modules, source, and utilities. And that's how you know you're in the main directory with all of these sub files in there. So go ahead and select that folder. That's where we want to be. Once you're in here, you can see on the side it says layers, background, bottom lid, eye color, eyeball. If you want to click into any one of those, and you can then click on the image and see what it looks like, just to see what some of these stock images that come with the generator are. And just to get started right away, what we're going to do is go to the top and go Terminal, New Terminal. And this will open up the terminal here. The next thing you're going to need to do is just come into the terminal, and to install all of the dependencies, we're going to type in npm install. And just go ahead and click enter. This will take just a minute and you'll see it downloading all of the packages here. I just want to at this time also let you know that if you come back to the GitHub, there is a how-to FAQ section here below, the README, whatever you guys want to call that. And it will go through all of the things we're going through today. So if you guys have any questions or you need to check back, this is available, which is a great resource for you. Once your dependencies are installed, it should look something like this, and you might see a couple little moderate errors or whatever. That's fine. Just go ahead and ignore that. All right, I've went ahead and just cleared out my terminal so you guys can see it here above the fold, make it a little bit easier for you to follow along. At this point, we're ready to build the test package. So without making any changes, we just installed it and have everything ready to go. We're going to do npm run build. And you'll see it starting to create some files here. It's using the stock files that came with the generator to create some of these eyeball images. So now if we want, we can close the layers and come up to the build. And in images, we'll now see PNG1 and it has the finished eyeball. And PNG2, 3, 4, and so on. And if you go into the JSON, we can now see the metadata. So we have all of that metadata for each one of these. That's essentially the basics of how this works. Obviously, you need to go in and update everything with all of your images and all of your traits and all of your information, but essentially that's how you run the generator. The next thing we're going to want to do is to change these files so that they're ours. So what we want to do here now is to come into the source folder and choose config.js. This config file is basically where you're going to make all of your changes to make everything exactly as you want for your collection. Right up top, let's just leave all of that the same. And we're going to come down right here and it says for Ethereum. So all of this is the information for Ethereum. And right below that, if we look, it says Solana and the information for Solana. So if you're making a project for Solana, this is going to be the main area of concern where we need to make this change. First and foremost, we need to come up to where it says network.eth and just change that to .sol, S-O-L, and go ahead and save, file, save, Control S. Now that we've switched it to Solana, we can ignore the Ethereum section here and just update everything on the Solana section. The main differences are going to be you're going to need a symbol, so like a ticker symbol for your NFT. You're also going to need to define how much you are going to get paid. 1,000 equals 10%, so just go ahead and keep that at the max unless you want to get paid less on the secondary sales. You can also link to an external URL if that's something you'd like to do. And finally, and possibly most important, is going to be your payout address and the split. If there's multiple addresses, just copy that and make another one with the second address, and obviously the share needs to add up to 100%. So like 90-10, 80-20, whatever you guys are doing, but the total number needs to be 100. If you're not doing a split and you're just paying out one address, go ahead and just leave that at 100 and just put in your Solana address. Okay, scrolling down a little bit more, the next most important thing is going to be the layers. So we can see grow edition size 2. If we change that to anything, could be, up to 10,000 or whatever, this is going to be the number that it creates. The next thing is going to be the layers, and these are the names of the layers in the layer folders. So whatever you put in here as the name needs to be the same as the layers, and those are going to be found in the layers folder. And we can go into that in a second. I'll show you guys. You just drag and drop basically into the folders or rename the folders that already come in the packages. But the big thing to keep in mind is that you have them in the proper order. So they're going to build from the bottom up. So you want your background first and then the next layer and so on. So for example, if we went to bottom lid, we can see here that we have high, low, and middle. Just basically how high it comes up on the cut. And then it has a pound sign, like a little hashtag there, and a number. And what that is the rarity. So you're adding pound 20 to the rarity, and it's going to be 20 out of the total. So since we have 40, 40, and 20, that would be 80 and 100. They add up to 100, so it's going to be 20% of 100. However, they don't have to add up to 100, so they could add up to, say, 120 if we put another 21 in here, and then it would be 20 out of 120. So just whatever you guys want for the rarity. If it makes it easier for you to make sure everything adds up to 100%, you can do that, but you don't have to. And you're going to have to just add that hashtag and then that number to differentiate between how rare you want those items to be. Again, you can just open this using your regular browser and drag and drop folders in. Rename files, whatever you guys need to do, but just make sure everything matches up to the config file. Otherwise, it won't work. That's the biggest thing that I have people having problems with, is they didn't name these the right things, or they tried to add different ones but didn't rename these. So just make sure all of that is correct, that you guys have a folder and one of these lines for each folder or each layer that you would like items added in for. Next, coming down to shuffle layer configuration, this is going to shuffle these. So if you want the orders to change per NFT, you can do that. There are some applications for that, but for the most part, you're just going to keep that on false. You can also add on debug logs, which will give you a little bit more information about the creation process other than just created edition. It will tell you each layer that it chooses. So it's up to you guys if you want the extra information. Next is going to be your output size. Generally, you want this to be the size of the files. However, if you do want them changed to something different, you can do that. You may get a little bit of resolution loss or blurriness if you're trying to change them too much. So just go ahead and set them at what you want and import the files at the right file size is what I recommend from the start. Next, we have a GIF option here, and what this is going to do is give you an option to create a moving GIF that basically shows the generation of each one of your art files. It's something that's just a little bit cool that you can do as a promotional item. You don't have to use it, so if you want, you can just go ahead and turn that to true, and then you'll have those built from the start, and if you want to use them, you can. I don't see why you would not want to just add them in and just as an option, because you're not going to be able to go back and do it later. So if you do want them, just add that in as true, and then repeat is going to be if you want it to loop. If you do -1, it will stop it only one time through. And I'll show you guys that here in a minute. The next is going to be constant text. This is if you want text layers instead of art files, like if you're doing like a loop project or something like that. I'm not going to cover that in today's video, but there are options for that if you guys want to play around with it. Next, we have a constant pixel format. Again, this is an added utility that I'll show you guys here in a little bit, but you can generate pixelated versions of your NFTs just as something kind of fun. Or if you want, you can turn on pixelate from the beginning and only generate pixelated versions, but we're not going to be doing that again in today's video. Constant background. This is if you want the art file to create a background for you. If you don't have background images and you want just random colors generated, you can turn that on. Most people are going to have their own art files or their own color files or whatever, so you'd want to turn that off if that's the case. Constant extra metadata. This is any extra metadata that you wanted added into every single NFT. You can go in and just add that here, so it's different things that weren't included in the generic section. Moving down, we have the rarity delimiter. This is how we explained earlier that you're going to set your rarity. It is by default just set to that hashtag #, but if you want it at something else, you could change it to something else here to make it easier for you, maybe if that's how you created your files. You also have unique DNA tolerance. So this is basically telling you how many total DNA files you're going to have. So set this to the total number of files you're going to create. If you're going to create 10,000, then you want it set to 10,000. If you're only going to create, say, 3,000 NFTs, you'd want this set to that number, which would be 3,000. And we have another option that is added on as an addition to this new version, which is the preview. This is kind of what you see for people with their background banner on Twitter or something like that, where it's a bunch of the different NFTs joined together. This is how you can create that by default. So you can just set the width and the number of rows and create the name of that or whatever if you want that different. And there's a utility to run I'll show you guys in a second. And again, just some more information about that image if you want to create it. And that's essentially everything you guys need to get going. Just a real quick run through of all those files. So I'm going to switch over to mine. I'm doing a little bit of test for my upcoming project called the Chill Cubes. In addition to the pumpkins, they're going to be launching a second chapter, which we introduced the Chill Cubes. And if you own a crypto pumpkin, you're going to get a free Chill Cube. So that's really cool if you guys want to get in on that mentorship or just want to support me in general with my Pumpkins Cubes project. So again, I'm going to open up my test cubes folder. And this is going to have all of my information that I already set up earlier. So you guys will be able to see all of that right here. Going through, I have like background. I have a few different background colors. And just to let you guys know, I'm going to go through and do this for you and generate a few as a test. But they're going to pretty much all look the same because I'm only using one cube color. I only have a couple background files. I only have a couple hands. This is really just a test, so not going to really give you a good idea of what my Chill Cubes are going to look like as a finished product, but it'll give you a little bit of a hint as to what some of them with just a couple of these files can create. So again, you can see how some of mine don't add up to 100. I have like missing teeth is 5, blunt is 3, and basic is 10. Altogether that adds up to 18, so obviously not 100% there. So again, you guys can set that how you want for those rarities. Currently set to Ethereum, so I'm just going to change that right now to Sol. And I'm going to change some of this metadata. I'm going to do CC for Chill Cubes. And just so you guys know, Chill Cubes are actually going to be on the Ethereum network. They're not going to be on Solana, but I'm just doing this as an example for you. I'm going to leave all this the same. I'm not really going to mess with that because, again, we're not actually doing this. So if I was, I would change it to my Solana address. And the other thing to keep in mind here is when we're building with Ethereum, the first NFT starts with 1. When you're switching to Solana, the first NFT starts with 0. So it would be 0 through whatever you have. And I have 25 set up, so it's going to create 0 through 24. So if that looks good, we'll just save our file. And now we're ready to create those. So we can again do npm run build, and it's going to create all of those. Okay guys, once that is complete, you can now come back to the build folder. If you had turned the GIFs option to true, you'll see 3 separate folders. Otherwise, you'll just see the images and the JSON. The JSON is going to be your metadata for all of these images. So we can click in here and it tells you all of that information that we set earlier and all of the traits, backgrounds, hands, all of that, where the image file is going to be located. And again, if you guys need help with the IPFS storage, I do have another video kind of covering that. It will be linked in the description below, as well as all of my other tutorial videos. So pretty much everything you guys are going to need to know how to do, I do have a video on. So closing this JSON, we can come up and see all of the images. Again, we start at 0 for Solana. We can see our first guy here. Moving down to our second one, we have this guy, get another guy. So again, guys, they're going to look fairly similar because there's only 1 color cube, 3 color backgrounds, and like 4 different hairstyles. But it's just a good way for me to kind of play around with it and see what they're all going to look like. Already, I'm thinking I'm going to need a little bit of a tidier crop around this cube because he looks kind of small here in the background. But yeah, that's everything that you guys are going to need to do right there. And then we can come here and I'll show you an example of one of these GIFs is just, how it's being built. So it shows you the different layers and then it just loops it. And you have one of those for each one. So it's just really nice as a marketing tool. Some of the other utilities that you guys might want to do can also be found again over here in the README section. So come over there and you can find some of this extra stuff right here. But if we do npm run preview, it's going to give us that preview image. If we do npm run pixelate, it'll pixelate them. And doing npm run rarity will give us the rarity for our trait. So let's go ahead and do a couple of those right now. So npm, then run, and rarity. You're just going to hit enter, and in your terminal here, it's going to give you the feedback of all of the rarity traits. So starting up at the top, we can see the background type clarity. There's weighted 5, and the occurrences was 11 out of 25, which is 44%. So let's just say I thought that was a little too high. I maybe turned down the weight from 5 to 4 or whatever, guys. So just come through and you can see all of the different traits and the rarity for them. Again, we only have 1 type of cube, only 1 cube color, which is why they're all at 100%. But this is a really cool feature that you're able to do. Now let me show you that preview. So again, I'm just going to type in npm run and preview. So Hashlips has given these all pretty easy names for you guys to memorize them. So pretty easy there. Preview does the preview image. And now when we come to the build folder, if we close those GIFs, we see here a preview.png file. And you can see that it's a square because I only have 25 images. So in the settings, I had it, I think it was at like 5 height and 50 long, but we don't even have that many images. So it can only create what it has. So this is what we got, is that nice block. So that should be everything you guys need to get started and generate your random images for NFTs on the Solana blockchain. I'm going to have another video in the future teaching you how to create the smart contract and launch your Solana NFT. And again, if you guys need any help, you can pick up a CryptoPumpkin and hop in my NFT mentorship in the Discord chat there. And I'm happy to help you with any of the stuff that you guys need as quickly as I can as time allows. Thank you guys again for watching this video. Hopefully it was helpful and you were able to easily generate your images, whether you're building them for Ethereum or Solana. And again, I have lots of other videos on creating NFTs on my channel. Just go ahead and do a search and make sure you guys find all of the information you need. If you did find value in today's video and it helped you out in any way, all I ask is that you smash the thumbs up on the video, subscribe if you're not already, maybe share it on social media. If you do want a little bit more access to me and some of the things I have going on with my project, or you just want to support me and my project in general, again, come on over to OpenSea and pick yourself up a Crypto Pumpkin Patch NFT while the floor price is low. Again, thank you for watching. Happy crypto, and let's keep getting those NFTs.